So I want to explain something that I don't know whether to say that it is an important topic, but it's something that I think for myself, if more of us could understand, this is just one piece of the knowledge puzzle that could help us to understand more things in this life for ourselves to use as a tool instead of a weapon for ourselves and other people. But caring and attachment are two completely different things. And I want to explain why they're two different things and why it's important for me to explain why they're two different things. Caring is something that one does when it's time to care for someone. Caring is something, say that you know someone, let's just say someone needs help from their mother and they need $200 to fix their car. Let's just use this as an example. I need help because my mother cares she's going to give me $200 because I'm in need of help to fix my car or to get to my job. Let's just use that as an example. Caring is something that is needed in a time of need. Attachment is something that is not needed. It's unnecessary baggage. See, attachment is something where it's unnecessary holding on to. You see what I'm saying? I don't need to, even me, my own family. I'll give you an example for myself because I can't explain to you unless I explain it for myself, unto myself. But me, I care for my family. I care for my dad. I care for my mom. I care for my brother. I care for them. Of course I care for them. They are somebody that I know and, somebody that I care for. But I am not attached to them anymore. You see, there's a very big difference between caring about someone and being attached to someone. And I think today we get too attached to people, places, and things way too easy. And just like, I forget if it's the Buddha, I think it's the Buddha that said, attachment causes all suffering. And it's absolutely true. Attachment gets involved with the ignorant things in life. Attachment gets involved with unnecessary baggage. It gets involved with, you have to cater to my feelings. And then the other person gets attached because they are so focused on, well, they made me feel good before, now they need to do that again. And then you get attached to something. And I know for myself, I'm not attached to people anymore, and I'm glad that I'm not attached to people anymore. I never, ever want to get attached to a person. This is why I hesitate to the whole relationship thing. See, we have to understand that relationship is just a made-up word now I know a lot of you, more than likely, a lot of people that are listening to this video, you use the word relationship. So in me describing this, we might not agree specifically, but just hear me out what I'm saying. I hesitate on being in relationships with anybody because with relationships comes attachment. With relationships comes with baggage of another person, you see. And I am a person that I would rather say I am looking more for acquaintances in my life. I'm looking for someone that when they are needed or I am needed, that they care enough to help when the time is for the need that is necessary. You see what I'm saying? And see, this takes discipline in one person's life too. And this is what a lot of us are not. We are not disciplined people. We are very undisciplined people. We are very unaccountable people, unaccounted for our actions people. We are very irresponsible people most of the time. See, when you become a responsible individual and you become a disciplined individual and you become an individual that cares when the time is needed to care, you realize that attachment is not needed. See, attachment is very tricky. It's very tricky because attachment plays on your insecurities. Attachment plays on you and I not understanding that since we came out of the womb, we were conditioned to think that we need to be this way for another person. We need to be involved with a lot of these things that they told us we need to be involved with. So over the years, we thought that we needed to be involved with it. We just assumed that, oh, because everybody else is doing it, I have to do it too. Just because the world is doing it, I have to follow that. I have to follow that trend. I have to follow what everybody else is doing on social media. I have to follow everything that my family's doing. I have to follow in their footsteps. And see, this is another thing. I have my own family myself, but I always had a problem with family life. Family life was not for me as a free individual. It was another form of bondage and slavery, in my opinion. It's not freedom to me. Family life is not freedom because it's a household that you have to be a certain way in the household. Now see, here's where I'm not against the family life and family structure. There are some families that are disciplined families. There are some families that they hold up certain values. There's things to do and not to do. See, they know their limitations. Some people know their limitations, and a lot of people in the world don't know their limitations. They don't know when they're pushing something too far. They don't know when enough is enough. You see, a lot of human beings don't know when to say, okay, it's time to go. Okay, the discussion is over. Okay, what are we doing here? We can't do any more. And what I would even say right now is stop worrying about what the rest of the world is doing. Stop worrying about what 8 billion people are doing in this world because more than likely they're not doing anything. They're not really doing anything. They're just doing what every other human being does. They're eating, they're sleeping, they're shitting. They're either going to work, they're either in a studio somewhere, riding a bike, taking a walk, going on a hike, whatever it is that humans are doing. See, we're too worried about putting on this ambition thing for other people, and this is what causes the attachments that we have, because we think that we need to be attached to somebody. We think that we need to do these kinds of things. And this is the thing. When I do these videos, you have to realize that there are contradictions within contradictions. And we can't get away from that fact. See, I'm not telling people if they need human connection. I'm not telling you to just go off and die somewhere alone. I'm not telling you that. But I know for me, I am somebody that when I'm around, when it's me and another person, most of the time, I can be honest with that person, and that person will be honest with me most of the time. When it's me and two other people, I will be honest with those two people. But see, right when it's more than two people, it becomes a social situation between people. And then it's, oh, I'm thinking this of this guy, or I don't like this guy, but this guy's cool, or I'm too worried about what this guy thinks, but this guy I'm cool with. And then when it's three people, it's even more of that going on. You know, it's even more of that going on. And social people would see it like, oh, it's just three people there. What's wrong with that? It's three people there. It's just three people. But see, I don't see it like that. I can't see it like that for myself. And I know a lot of you might disagree with the social thing I talk about. I know you might not be on the same page as me, and it's whatever. We're not going to agree with everything, y'all. We're going to disagree if you're on my channel with certain things. I can guarantee you that. I don't know if you're similar or you're somewhat like me and not like me in other ways, but it really doesn't matter. It's just to observe these things for ourselves. You see what I'm saying? But when it's me and three other people, then I know there's going to be a lot of putting on for each other. There's gonna be a lot of joking around. There's gonna be a lot of, how can I say this? There's going to be a lot of masks and facades. There's gonna be a lot of someone acting like some way that they're not because these other people are around. And this is something George Carlin said one time. He said, when you're with you and another person, you can almost see the universe in their eyes. You know, they light up and they tell you the truth and they're honest with you. But then when it's two people, it goes out the window. Because, see, we're so trained, we're so conditioned when it's two people, we're too worried about what the other person thinks. Right away, we're judging that there's more people there. Now, you would think that's what I'm doing, but this is just what people do. See, I know for myself that I'm going to be honest no matter what. I don't care if it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people. I don't care anymore. But I know that more than likely, people that haven't taken accountability for this in their lives and haven't got honest about it, more than likely, they're going to say, oh, well, now that there's, 3 other people here, well, I'm not going to let them in on anything. I'm not going to actually say what I want to say, or if I'm feeling some kind of way, because I don't want them to think this of me. You see, it becomes a worry. It becomes and this all has to do with everything that I talk about. This all goes hand in hand with the whole entire world of thought and topics that I say on my channel. And I think if we could understand these things more thoroughly, see, the world is, as long as we are BSing ourselves, as long as we are bullshitting ourselves here, we're never going to get real with ourselves. And we wonder why everything stays the same. We wonder why we're kind of caught in limbo in our lives, and we don't know how to let anything die. We don't know how to let anything fade away so that something new can come. We don't know how to let go of our attachments, our identities. We don't know how to let things die here. We just don't know how to do it because we're scared that if we let something die, if we let something go, if we say, okay, this is old and I'm not trying to hold on to it anymore, I'm done with it. I'm done with it. I'm not trying to hold on to it anymore. See, that's when something new can come. That is when a renewing of the mind can happen, when you do this over and over and over again. But most people don't do that. They're holding on so tight. They're holding on for dear life to their identity, what they think they have to be for the world. They're hanging on to this attachment thing so bad and so hard, and they wonder why they're so stiff-necked. They wonder why they're so uptight. They wonder why they're not loose around other people. They wonder why they're always worried about what everybody else is going to think, because they can't be honest. They can't be honest around other people. It's this social facade that they put on. And this is what I meant when I did the video the other day about it's kind of like a cult, this social approval cult. I'm not saying don't socialize with people. I'm not saying don't talk with people. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying when you think that you need that validation, when you think that you need the approval of another person, what you're saying to yourself is, I have to worry all the time. I have to worry all the time about what I'm gonna say, how I'm gonna act around people, what I'm gonna do, if I'm gonna be honest. You have to always be too nice to other people because you don't want to look like you can't be human at all. You see what I'm saying? See, this is why people that are overly nice all the time, the reason that they're like that is because they are so in fear that if they're not nice, that they're going to be shunned by everybody. They think that if they say one real thing, to the point thing, in the moment, like if they're agitated with something and say, look, I'm agitated with this, or if they get angry at something, I'm angry with this thing. They're so worried, they're in fear of what another person will think if they say that. See, if we don't let these things go, if we don't get past this around the people we're around, and we don't get honest, then we're going to keep putting this thing on all the time for each other. You see what I'm saying? And it just keeps going and going and going. And you have this in the workplace. I'm not saying that there isn't workplace etiquette. How are you? What can I get for you? Are you fine? Can I help you? I don't have a problem with that. But I'm talking about just everyday normal confrontations between peoples. When you ask somebody, how are you doing today? How many people are gonna actually tell you how they're doing? If you say, oh, what have you been up to? How many people are actually gonna tell you something like, oh, well, I spanked my monkey earlier, I brushed my teeth, I accidentally crapped in my pants earlier, oops, and I slipped and fell on a banana last night and broke my ankle. How many people are gonna tell you that? Not too many people, man. And I just can't stand the fakery of our world, y'all. I can't hack it. I don't know, maybe it's me, maybe it is me, maybe I am slightly autistic, maybe I am a schizoid, maybe it is me that's like this. But you know what? At least I'm willing to be honest about how I feel about the situation. I'm not hiding how I feel about the situation, because I think hiding how you really feel about something is the worst thing that you can do, because if you're hiding how you see something, then you're never going to get to the point of being honest about stuff. You see, if you don't ask questions of, well, why do I react like this, and why can't I be honest with myself, you're gonna constantly be holding on to it, and it's gonna be a pressure thing. It's gonna be well, I'm too worried about what everybody else is gonna think if I get honest with myself. And you have got to stop worrying about what the world is doing and what the world will say and how the world perceives you, because I'm telling you, if you're someone that is thinking logically and you're being honest with yourself, you're gonna see that the world really has nothing to offer you. It's just people doing people things. And what I would tell anybody, that this is, you have to start something of your own. You have to go and make something for yourself in this life. That is all you're gonna be left with. If not, you're gonna live your life like billions and billions of other people have lived. You're gonna live doing something more than likely that you don't wanna do. You're gonna be miserable the rest of your life. You're gonna be saying, it's everybody else's fault why I'm not doing something. That is stupid, that's dumb. And yes, I watched this video of life is pointless, but that's the beauty of it. Yes, life is pointless in the end, but it doesn't mean just sit around being miserable. It doesn't mean just sit around and hate everything until you die. It doesn't mean be bitter and blame everybody else for everything that goes on in your life till you die. That's not what it means, man. If you're taking it that way, then I think that is kind of a coward's way. It's just going right to the negative thing. And then some people say, they call us negative, but we're actually being real. No, that's not always the truth. That is not always how it is. That's a cop-out. That's a cop-out for us to do nothing. That's a cop-out for us to just say, oh, well, life is shit, so I don't have to do nothing. And if people live like that, they live like that. But that's stupid to live like that. That is dumb to say, okay, life is pointless, life is meaningless, yeah, but to be miserable and to hate everything and to just sit around for the rest of your life and just mope about everything, that is just absolutely insane to do that. And a lot of people do get caught up in that mind state and that habit. And hey, if that's what people do, that's what they do. This is why I don't really associate or want to associate myself with hardly anybody, because at this point in my life, and there's nothing, why do we see something wrong with when we say something like, what do you have to offer? Well, what are you bringing to the table? What are you doing? What do you have going for you? You see, this is what I've come to the point where this is what I'm looking for in other people, is like, okay, well, what do you do? What can you bring to the table? What can you offer? What is going on in your life? Because if you're not reflecting on people like that, then what are you doing? If you're not a person like that, then more than likely someone is just sitting around. They're just sitting around all the time, blaming everybody, hating everything, being miserable about everything, being negative about everything, and they don't even realize that they are their own problem. They don't even realize this for themselves. I don't know why we do this to each other or do this to ourselves. Why would any of us want to live that way? And I understand why. I understand why people do this, but see, it's a futile thing trying to do anything to explain something or to get somebody else to think like you or be like you. It's a futile endeavor. This is something that I had to brutally find out for myself, is that trying to get other people to be on your page or to understand what you've been through or how you are or what you know, it's a futile thing. It's almost to where you got to say, look, it doesn't matter what I say or what I do. I realize that I cannot make anybody else do anything that it is that I'm doing. And it's futile to do so. It's a absolute futile endeavor. But when I look at this for myself, I say to myself, you just see how irrelevant most of these things are. You see how unnecessary they are. You see how nonsensical a lot of the things that humans do to themselves and other people in the name of things that we've been conditioned with. You see how stupid it is. And you see how dumb it is. And you see how much we're wasting our time on petty things here. We're not doing anything to build something for ourselves, or to be creative, or to be productive, or to, I don't know, find out things that can honestly, truly make us feel better, like medicines that can do something for the human mind that we never thought before. Reading Nikola Tesla and studying energy and vibrations and frequencies and all this stuff, studying science, doing something that nobody else does here. And see, some people that might not think like this, they're gonna think I'm preaching to them, or think that I'm telling you to do something that I'm not doing. No, I'm not doing everything that I'm saying, but I'm thinking about it. And it doesn't, just because I don't have a ton of things to show people, or I don't have a mansion or all the material things, none of that shit matters anyway. That's all pointless anyway. You know, name brand things to show off with people, none of that means nothing. The only thing that means something is, are you content with yourself? Are you content with your own life, and are you responsible for your own life? And are you a disciplined person? Because here's the thing. If you're not a disciplined person, then more than likely you're an out of control person. If you're not a responsible person, then that means that you don't give a shit about anything. And people that are attached and are like that, then that is a very, 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 very potent mixture for that individual. Because if an individual doesn't care for anything or anyone, I don't know what to say. You know, I do care. I do care about things in my life. I care about my health. I care about how I feel. I care about my health. I already said that, but I care about people that I know, you see, but I don't want to associate myself with people in the world. I want to keep it a over the phone thing. I want to keep it a being on YouTube thing. I want to keep it a expressing myself when I'm by myself thing, because anything that I do, I'm not going to be doing it with other people anyway. You see what I'm saying? And this is why I'm telling y'all, get used to being by yourself. If you're someone that is by yourself, don't look at it like a bad thing. Don't look at it like a bad thing. Look at it like, well, what can I do? What can I do when I'm by myself? What can I do even if I don't want to be around other people? What can I do to where I don't have to be around other people, but you can do something different than that? You can speak to them, you can do live videos, and you can read comments and speak. I don't know. There's something else that we could be doing here is all that I'm saying. Instead of sitting around, you know, just being miserable and hating life. That's just, why would any of us want to live like that? You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm up off of that. What I wanted to get into was, if you start having this kind of thing, and I'm not telling anybody to do anything that I'm doing, I'm just saying this is for me. When you have an attitude that, yes, you care when the time is needed to care, but being attached to people, places, and things, it's always going to end in you getting your feelings hurt, It's always going to end in you being bitter about something when something doesn't go your way. It's always going to end in when people say heartbreak or pain, which none of that exists. That's all just conditioned stuff that we've been conditioned to think. And if you're someone that's been on this platform for this long, you should know by now that puppy love is just a concept. It's something that when you're young, your emotions get into it and you say, oh, I've been hurt. No, you just went through the puppy love stage and now it's over. You realized what it was and now it's done. And there's a lot of people, you have to first experience some things and go through it before you can understand it. And a lot of people in the world, when you don't experience something that someone else has, you can't possibly understand that until you experience it yourself most of the time. And that's why I talk about these things myself. This is why I let you know what I know for when something does happen to you, so that if it's in the back of your mind, you can say, okay, I heard this before somewhere, so that you don't react in a foolish manner. You don't react in a manner where you're going to overdo something, where you don't know your limitations. Because that's the problem with us. The problem with us as people is that we're not disciplined, we're not responsible, we have no self-respect, and we don't focus on making something for ourselves. We don't focus on building something for ourselves because we're too worried about what the rest of the world is doing. We're too worried about what other people are doing, the things that other people are posting online, the music everybody else is making, the way that everybody else acts. We're too worried about those things. And we can't just get to a thing where we say, you know what? That is not what I want to do. I know that's not me, and I'm not trying to be something for anybody. See, if you are a person, and this is just the absolute truth, if you are a person that is still trying for the world, you know that you're lying to yourself. You know you're not being true with yourself. And if you don't want to be true with yourself, then don't be true with yourself. I don't care either way. I'm just telling you how it is for me. Because honestly, I had to stop caring so much about the rest of the world. You see, I only care about need-based things, and I only care, does someone have something to offer that is a need-based thing? Does someone else have something productive going for them? Is someone willing to listen to an individual that actually knows things, that actually understands things, that will actually be the person that will actually confront you on things because they actually do care for you? But the thing is, do you care for yourself? You see, do you care for your time here? Do you care for the rest of your life? You see, while you're here, because you have no other choice anyway, I don't have any other choice anyway but to be here unless I or whatever else. So I have no choice but to be here anyway. It's either live or suicide. And I don't want to commit suicide right now. So I have to live. And that's just where it is. That's just where I'm at. And if knowledge is anything to me, knowledge and understanding is understanding that literally everything is contradiction. If you don't understand that life is literally yin-yang, if you don't look at life like the yin-yang symbol, the black and white yin-yang symbol, that everything is opposition, everything is contradiction, everything is hot and cold, everything is up and down. There is good and there is bad. There is morally wrong and there is morally right. There is too much and there is too little. There is limitation and boundaries, and there is not enough and just sticking around and watching people do dumb shit and doing nothing. You see, if you don't look at life like that, then more than likely we are a one-sided kind of people. And one-sided kind of people are people that are lying to themselves, lying to everybody else. You cannot be a one-sided person in this life. If you're one-sided, then you're not understanding the fabric of reality and how we are as people, because you can't get away from the fact that we are literally everything here. We are everything. We are hypocritical. We are contrary. We are... See, sometimes I can't even explain this in words to people. And there's someone I read something online the other day. Someone said something about, I am too logical for my own good. Yes, I am too logical. I am too logical because I'm too real and I'm too honest. And if you can't be too real and too honest, then that means that you're being too fake and you're lying to yourself about stuff. And I won't do that. So see, what you're going to notice over time is the more honest you are with you in this life, and the more that you're really accepting things for how they really are, and you're being absolutely brutally honest with you, you're going to see that the world is going to shun you. People are going to hate you for no reason. People are going to dislike you for nothing, because they don't want to get honest with themselves and they don't want to reflect it on themselves. So they have to look at you and say, oh, well, you're wrong for saying this. You're too logical. You know, you're just too honest. You know, I can't mess with you because if I mess with you, then that means that I'm going to have to take accountability for myself. That means that I'm going to have to make a lifestyle change. That means that I'm going to have to, when the time is right, I'm going to have to care about something for once in my life. And see, as I'm saying this, it's something I'm content with, but at the same time I'm angry with, because I see how one-sided humanity has become. And this is what ideologies does. This is what this whole ambition thing for each other, putting on for each other. When more people are around each other, we gotta act as if, you know, we're looking at the one person like, oh, I like him better than him, or it's just this awkward thing that we got going on because we don't know what human connection is, because we don't know how to be honest with ourselves. We don't know how to be truly, purely, without any holds bars, without holding back, honest with ourselves. And people shun honesty today. People hate honesty today. People despise honesty today because they despise to be honest with themselves, and they won't get real with themselves, and it makes no sense. And when I say this, I know people might be thinking, well, what are you really talking about when you say that? I'm talking about everything. I'm talking about the whole entire charade of our lives. I'm talking about this short existence that we get, and because we're all on borrowed time. What are you going to do with your time? Are you going to spend your time being a down-to-earth, unique individual and being yourself and really saying it for how it is and calling shit out when it needs to be called out? Or are you just going through life bullshitting, doing what everybody else is doing, worrying about what they think of you? Oh, because they're doing it, I have to do it. You think you have to fit in, and then you go off of that. That's why your feelings get hurt so easily. That's why we get offended so easily. That's why we get attached so easily, because we have been duped and lied to about so many things. They told us that everything's gonna work out. They told us that one day you'll find the woman or the man of your dreams. One day you'll have the big house with the white picket fence. You know, one day it's gonna be so lovely. They lied to us. They lied to us. You know, one day you will be successful and you will have everything you ever dreamed of. And they just tell us all of this bullshit. They just pound us with this all the time. And we're chasing this and chasing it and chasing it. And it doesn't mean, see, here's the contradiction, here's the conundrum, here's the paradox of it. It doesn't mean not to make something happen for yourself, though. It doesn't mean not to maybe plant your own food or get enough money to where you can build your own place, or to quit going to a job that you don't want to go to and find a way to do something else, something that you are passionate about, something you like doing, something that you're honest with, that you can make an honest living off of. That's what it's about here, y'all. That's what matters for us as people. All the other shit doesn't mean anything. It's fake, it's bullshit, it's phony, it's plasticky. It doesn't mean nothing. And this is why we are the way we are. Everybody says life is meaningless, life is pointless. That's because we are not disciplined people that say, okay, it's time to start disciplining my life and find a craft that I'm into. Find a way to make an honest living for myself, to make my own thing with like-minded people if that's what you want to do. But I don't know if I see that happening for myself, because the way that I am, I just know that too much of the world they're too far gone in their conditioned thoughts for me to ever do something with them, for me to do something where we have true human connection with. I've lost sight of that with other people, because I know that we are in a conditioned world. We are in a world of programmed people that think they gotta be some way. You know, I don't want to sit here and say, I really hope that you're getting this. That's what I was gonna say, but I don't want to say, I really hope that you're getting this. The only thing that I can do is be honest with myself anymore. I understand now that you cannot make anybody else do anything here. Because more than likely, people are not going to do what you're saying anyway. So this is why I don't have any expectations for it either. I don't expect anybody to do anything I'm doing. I don't even expect people to listen to me anymore, if I'm being absolutely honest. I know there's people that watch these videos. I know I am listened to, and I appreciate the fact that I'm listened to. I really do. I appreciate that, but what I ask myself is, are other people getting something for themselves with this? Is this resonating within you for you to say, okay, enough is enough. It's time for me to, instead of doing this thing that I don't like, to do something else. Instead of me lying to myself, I'm done lying to myself. Instead of me putting on this thing for people, I'm not doing that anymore. And when you do that, people are gonna look at you like, what is going on with you? What happened with you? Why are you being like that now? Well, you were being like this, now why are you being like that? See, this is what will happen in your life when you do that. You're gonna have people question you, interrogate you, wonder why you're saying what you're saying, why do you feel the way you do, why don't you want to associate with people, why are you like that now? This is the things that people that don't understand things that say this to you. See, when we understand these things though, then we understand why people do the things they do and why they say the things that they say. And all that I'm doing in this, it's just so that we can understand these things for ourselves, so that we don't have to force ourselves to be something other than ourselves, so that we don't have to try to be something that we're not for other people, to quit putting on this game and this show for other people. Because I'm not playing the game anymore. I'm not playing and putting on the show anymore for people. I don't have the energy, I don't want to do it, and I'm not gonna do it. And it's just, you just make a decision to say to yourself, look, I am not going to be fake in a fake world. I'm just not going to do it. And I've already went through the hell of deconditioning my brain. I've already went through the hell of expelling things that I knew were lies, that I was just told and I believed. I already went through the hell of getting rid of an identity that I know that was not really me. I was just holding on to that identity because that was my identity and I thought that was me, but it wasn't me. It wasn't me. That wasn't me. And for a person to get honest with oneself is going to be the hardest thing that any human will ever do, is to get brutally honest with oneself and to look in the mirror and say, what am I doing? What am I doing? Why do I worry about why I think that I need to be a certain way for everybody else? Why do I keep doing that? See, we don't look at the root of these problems. Or I don't want to say problems, we don't look at the root of these things that we do. We don't want to get, it's almost like we don't want to get to the root of these things. Because if we get to the root of these things, that means that we have to make an ultimate lifestyle and thought change. And not too many people want to do that. And then that's why we're bored and we're doing the same stuff and there's nothing new, because we don't let go, we don't move on from, we don't let it die, like I said. Let it die. Let the old you die today. Let the facade die. Let the identity die. Let it all die and see what happens. Yes, it's gonna suck and it's gonna be hard, but see, nobody else will tell you this because they don't care to tell you this. They're in fear that if they get honest with themselves, that the world will shun them and their ambition will not allow them to be shunned. And we keep holding on to this thing and keep trying to be this thing for each other that we know we're really not. And I know when I say this, I know my thought is, it's a very strange thought. It's a very awkward thought, because you go, okay, even if we do that, even if what you're saying is right, and we do these things, okay, so what? Now what? Okay, then what are we gonna do? Okay, what's it gonna prove? And see, that is the mindset of you doubting the fact that you truly let it go. That is the fact that you have not yet let it laid to rest. You have not laid it to true rest and said, I am done with this. I am done with this. I'm done. And there's nothing wrong with being done. There's nothing wrong with letting something die. There's nothing wrong with saying enough is enough with this thing and saying I am done with it. See, this is why we can't live in the moment. This is why we can't be honest with one another. This is why we're always thinking about tomorrow, what we're going to do, what we did yesterday. What am I going to say to them today? I got to look this way for them today. I got to put on for them today. I got to make sure I don't act too much of that way because I really want to act that way. And look, you're going to be looked at like you're crazy. You're going to be looked at like you're crazy by the conditioned mind of a conditioned person. And look, if I'm being honest with you, I have lost my mind before. And I have lost my mind at one time. And I did go completely crazy. And losing my mind was one of the worst and one of the best things that has ever happened to me. The reason why it was the worst thing is because losing my mind was losing my identity. Losing my mind was letting go of everything that I once thought that I was, that I knew that I really wasn't, that I was putting on for other people, that I was trying so hard to be for other people, that I was so desperately seeking the approval and to be attached to people in relationships. And it wasn't a real thing. It was something that was constantly forced. Something that was like play dates. Something that was like, oh, well, I gotta dress a certain way. I gotta talk a certain way. I have to be around certain types of people. See, when you get to this understanding, you're done with all of that stuff. You're done with it. You're done. You lay it to rest. You say, that's not me anymore. That's not me anymore. And I am so glad that I lost my mind. How many people are going to tell you they're glad that they lost their mind? I am glad that I lost my mind. It is the worst thing because of that, because it's going to be the hardest thing a person ever does, because you got to get honest with yourself. You have to get real with yourself. You have to take a 100% being in that thing to actually do it, to understand. And it is one of the hardest things that I ever had to do. It was almost sickening. It had me in such a depression that I almost wanted to commit suicide because of it. But I realize now it's the best thing I ever did, because now I don't have to put on for anybody. I don't have to act like something I'm not. I don't have to try to be something for anybody on camera. I don't have to try to discuss something for you. I'm just speaking. I'm just speaking what it is that I have experienced. I'm just venting what I know to be the state of the world and the state of mankind and the conditioned mind and the mind that has lost its mind. And I know that this sounds crazy to people, and I know that most people will shun it, they will ignore it, they will look the other way, because they're still too worried about what other people think. And when they listen to someone like me, they'll be looking around like, oh, who's listening? Who's listening to me while I'm listening to this guy? Who's around? Who's going to hear me? Who's going to hear me if I'm listening to him? SBN resonate. Somebody but nobody. Who would ever call themselves that? You see, and listen, I'm not scared to put myself out, but I don't even tell people that I know that I have a channel, because I know more than likely I'm going to be misunderstood. And that's okay. That's okay that I will be misunderstood, because I understand that some people, like I said, they just don't want to get honest with themselves. And I can't help that. I can't help that someone doesn't want to get honest with their own lives. Because see, once you start getting honest with you, you're going to almost be in a world of your own. You're going to be misunderstood by people. You're going to be looked at like an alien, like a foreigner, like some extraterrestrial being that people never seen or heard before. And that's just how it is. But you know what? So what? So what? Let it go. Let it die. Let it be what it is. Stop putting up this thing for other people, man. You gotta let it go. You have to kind of give up on the world, if that makes sense. You have to give up on people and the world and the thought of the world, because the whole entire thought of the world and mankind, we already know that it's a big facade and a big joke anyway. We know that we're on borrowed time and we only have a little time to actually live our lives while we're here, while we still can. And in that time, what are we going to do in this time that we have? That is all that there is, y'all. That is it. There is nothing else. There is nothing else in our lives but to create of our own being, to make something that we want to make in this life. If we sit around and keep worrying about what other people are doing, what other people are going to think, we're going to do that our entire lives. We're going to be stuck in limbo of, oh my gosh, if I do this, they're not going to like me. If I say this thing or I express myself how I really want to, they're going to judge me and they're going to talk about me and they're not going to approve of me. See, this is a fear. This is a mind of fear. You have to let go of the fear. You have to face the fear, and facing the fear is being honest with yourself. That is facing the fear. I'm facing my fear right now by being honest with myself. There's people that are walking by me. There's cars. There's people around here that can probably hear me. It's okay because I'm being honest with me. Yeah, I'm being a little loud, and hey, forgive me y'all for being a little loud. It's late. Some people might be sleeping, and I'm sorry for that. But I know that I can go to sleep saying I was honest with myself today. And I didn't put on for a world. I wasn't putting on for something that doesn't even exist. The approval of other people doesn't even exist. We just think it exists because we have this ambition thing in our head. We have this pride thing in our head. We have this conditioned thing in our head from when we were born that we gotta be something for everybody. We have to be more than something from other people. We have to get ahead of life. And there is no such things as these things. It is the illusion that we're being fed. It is the thing that we listen to every day and we get caught up in all the time. I know this because I once lived it, and I lived it to the fullest. I was a complete idiot in my life when I went by these things. I was a foolish idiot myself when I was involved with this stuff, because I was being everything but myself. I was trying to be something I wasn't. And now I don't got to worry about that no more. And that's something in my life that is, even though I have days where my mind is doing what it does, I know that those thoughts are bullshit. They're lies. I know that these thoughts that come to my head, they're just conditioned thoughts trying to re-trigger me to go back to thinking them. You see, to go back to the stinking thinking, to go back to the old way I thought, to go back to what I once thought that I needed. You see, the mind is trying to get me attached again. The mind is trying desperately to get me to go back to putting on for other people. And I refuse to do it. I am going to keep saying to this thing in my mind when it comes up, you're a liar. You don't exist. You never did exist. You're full of shit. And see, that's me reflecting on myself. I'm telling myself, Nate, you're full of shit. You know it's a lie. You know you're bullshitting yourself. You know you're being dishonest with yourself, and I refuse to do that anymore. I refuse to not look at the man in the mirror, is basically what I'm saying. And if the world could look at the man in the mirror, I'm asking him to change his ways. See, we all thought that song was corny and whatever, and we made fun of it. But we never really examined what that song was really saying to ourselves. We just sung the song because we wanted to try to fit in or whatever, but how many were actually saying it to ourselves and actually meaning it? I'm looking at the man in the mirror and I'm asking him to change his ways, because nobody else is going to change your ways or your lifestyle or the hatreds or the bitterness or the anything that you have, the resentment, the anything that you have in your life. Nobody's going to change that but you, if you think that you need to change it. Nobody. Nobody is going to do it but you. If we don't get that through our thick skulls, that we are responsible for everything we do here, then we're going to keep playing this game and we're going to keep fooling ourselves with stuff. And I am saying this so that we understand this in times when we need this for ourselves. You see what I'm saying? I'm saying it for when it does count, for when it does matter, for when there is a need that needs to be provided for something. I'm not just saying this to say this, y'all. I'm not just making videos to make videos. Do you think I want to come out here and waste my time walking around just saying anything like I'm just blabbing about something? I'm not blabbing about something. I'm saying something that actually does mean something in this life while we're still living our life. Okay, yeah, in the end, it's pointless. In the end, it's meaningless. In the end, we're all gone. We're all dead. But until that time, then all of us are responsible for our own lives. And whatever we do from here on out is on us. It's not on any other person but us, what we do from here on out. So quit making excuses. Quit blaming the world for what's going on with you. I get so sick and tired of hearing some people, all they do is blame all day long. All they do is they hate everything all day long. All they do is they're bitter at someone else all day long. All they know how to do is compare themselves to somebody else all day long. And I'm like, damn, dude, how can you stay in that toxic mind state? Like, it's just every day. I can see if you got to do it once in a while to get it off your chest. But when it's every day, then you know that you have a habit unto yourself that you're not taking an honest look at and you're not dealing with. You're keeping it stored inside and you're not dealing with it at all. And I know because I did this before. I did these things before. That's why I'm telling other people, because I did them myself. I did everything that I'm telling you. I've been there and I've done it and I've learned from it and I've learned what not to do or what to do. Not that I'm forcing myself to do anything, but when the time comes to do it, it's just the time to do it. It's that time to understand it and know it. That's all. That's all I mean by it. So anyway, I'll let y'all go with that. I really didn't even want to make this video this long, but take care. Thanks for any support on the channel. If anybody out there, and I will do this again because I'm not scared to say it, if there is anyone that runs across my channel, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not a month from now, maybe not 6 months, maybe not a year, maybe not 2 years. If it's 3 years from now, if there is someone out there, if you want to donate to a individual human being that will spend the money wisely and frugally on something productive to make something of a little bit of a better world, then I will accept any donation that anybody has to give on this platform. And I'm willing to accept it with gratitude and appreciation and saying thank you for that donation, because it won't be used for something stupid. It won't be used for something irrelevant. It won't be used for something of a greedy kind. So if anybody wants to give to the platform a hefty sum, I am more than likely to receive it, because I know that I will use it for good intentions, good motives for myself, disciplined things, creative things, productive things for my life and the sake that other people can see something in me to do for themselves, if that makes sense. So with that, thank you. Take care. I will talk to you again if I'm given the opportunity to do that. You never know what life is life, and anything can happen in life, and I would just like to think that every one of you would get something for yourself out there. That is all that if I would wish anything, which I know there's no such thing as wishes, but if I would like anything, I would like that you get something for yourself. I would like that this would give you just a little bit of something for you to do for you, and so that you can show other people, so that you can be kind of a living testimony unto your own honesty and truth. And that's all that I would really like to see, if I'm being honest. So I'll talk with y'all. Thanks for watching. Later, good night, good day, good afternoon. Wherever you're at, I don't know. Later.